again, it's Connie Valentine, helping you to feel better, get healthy, and live your passion. Today in this video, we are going to discuss the top 7 foods to stop eating. So let's get into it. A lot of these foods I know I have loved eating and I grew up eating, I enjoyed eating, and I had a lot of health problems as a result of eating them. And when I removed them from the diet, I felt a lot better. I had more energy. I felt better. I felt alive. And this is what I want to keep feeling, lots of energy. So let's get into it. What are these 7 foods? The first one is MSG, known as monosodium glutamate. What is that? Monosodium glutamate, it overexcites our brains, our brain cells and neurons. We have neurotransmitters in our brain. One of them is glutamate, which is a very important neurotransmitter. If we have too much of this neurotransmitter or this substance called glutamate in our brain, it overexcites the brain so much so that you can damage the brain cells. You can eventually have brain damage if you overindulge in this or have too much of this in conjunction with a lot of other issues. So too much monosodium glutamate. I like to avoid this food. It's something that we don't need to consume. It is disguised as many different labels. One of them is E621, flavor enhancer, yeast extract, hydrolyzed vegetable protein. There is over 200 different names for this substance. And it's a tricky one to look out for because sometimes you might think it's not in your food that you're buying, but you realize that it's labeled as something else, not as MSG. So it's a tricky one. So monosodium glutamate. What's the second and third one? High fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup. What does this do? This elevates your blood sugar levels. It spikes your blood sugar levels. And what happens is it's very intense level of sugar, too much for your body almost, and too much for your pancreas. So your pancreas kind of goes into overdrive, producing insulin to try and push all this sugar into your blood cells and use it. And what happens if you keep consuming these products with high fructose corn syrup in it, then your pancreas is going to go into overdrive. It's going to wear out. It's going to tire out, and it's going to become damaged eventually. It's not going to work. And what happens when this happens? You end up with diabetes. Your pancreas can't do it anymore. It can't produce the insulin. And without this insulin production, then you can't have the energy in your cells. The sugar cannot enter the cells, giving you energy throughout your day. And therefore you have to go and either have insulin injections, as a lot of diabetic people need to do, or have medications to try and prompt your pancreas to produce the insulin, or try and get that sugar into the cells again. Avoid high fructose corn syrup. The other one that goes along with that is aspartame. So people have a lot of artificial sweeteners, aspartame or aspartame. Different people like to call it or pronounce it in a different way. Aspartame is also another neurotoxin. It's artificial sweetener. It damages your body and your cells. The third food I like to avoid are diet sodas or soft drinks, sugar drinks, carbonated sugar drinks. Those drinks usually contain a lot of phosphorus, and this amount of unhealthy phosphorus that are in these soda drinks, that once they go into your body, it destroys the calcium in your body. It leaches calcium in your body. Your body is trying to balance calcium and phosphorus, and so when you put in all this phosphorus, the calcium in your body is trying to get in and balance it, and it damages it. Your calcium eventually leaches out. I remember when I was in grade 6, I had a great science teacher who let us do a little experiment with crushed teeth, and we put a bit of soda. I won't name the brand of soda that we put in there, but it's a very popular one, and I'm sure you've tried it before. A soda drink, and we put this in a test tube with the crushed teeth, and those crushed teeth, the particles of the crushed teeth evaporated in an instant. The sugar and the phosphoric acid literally ate up that tooth. So just imagine what these soda drinks are doing to your teeth enamel. They're eating away at your bones. the calcium in your teeth, your tooth enamel. This is why your dentist always says, don't have too much sugar, don't have too much sugary drinks. It's literally eating away at your bones. So what's the fourth food I like to avoid? What have we done so far? We've done MSG, we've done aspartame, we've done high fructose corn syrup, we've done soda drinks. Now we're up to number 5. Number 5 is margarine and those sorts of vegetable oil refined butters. Margarine, they're full of trans fatty acids, which raise your cholesterol levels, raise your triglyceride levels, raise that LDL or the bad cholesterol. Now, there's a reason why LDL is in your body as well. They say HDL, high density lipoprotein, LDL, low density lipoprotein, and they call the LDL the bad cholesterol because when you have too much of that, then you start to get the blocked arteries, the clogged arteries, you start increasing your risk of cardiovascular disease, heart disease, strokes, and all kinds of blood vessel related disease and damage. So with margarine, we want to avoid these vegetable oils and these refined vegetable oils and margarine types of fats because the LDL cholesterols, we don't want to bring it out of balance. We do need a little bit of everything. It's there in your body for a reason. For example, LDL cholesterol helps to transport lycopene, which is a potent phytochemical found in tomatoes and can help reduce the risk of benign prostatic cancers. This is what the science says. Lycopene. It also helps us transport beta carotene, which is another important antioxidant in your body. So LDL cholesterol does have a function, but we don't want too much of it in our body. So what's food number 6 to avoid? The grains. Now, this is an interesting one because it's very controversial. Refined grains. So let's avoid refined grains. Many people say to avoid wheat completely. That's one of the most acidic grains that you can find. So what happens with the grains? They are acidic in nature. So what's that doing? It's creating an imbalance in your body. It's creating acid state in your body, which means your body is getting inflamed. When your body's in an acidic state, a highly acidic state, you are more susceptible to inflammation. Your body probably is inflamed if you're eating a lot of these acidic foods. And we might walk around all day and not even realizing that we've got these acidic states in our body, or we've got inflammation going on, low-grade inflammation. We just kind of plod along until it becomes a disease or until it develops into something. And then it's usually pain that gets us to the doctor. We want to avoid that by eating and balancing that out with more alkaline foods. And I'm going to talk about some of the alternatives to some of these things in a moment. So with the butters, instead of using these sorts of margarines, use olive oil. Spread some olive oil, pour olive oil on your bread and put a little bit of herbs on top instead of butter. Instead of margarine. Butter is a better alternative to margarine. It has butyric acid, which is very beneficial to your intestinal wall, and it also has a lot of polysaccharides, healthy elements to help improve your cellular health. Butyric acid. So that's in butter. So choose butter over margarine, or olive oil, even better, because you've got dairy, which is also another inflammatory food. It causes inflammation in the body, and this is all a bit of a balancing act when you're eating all these sorts of food. But if you want to not have the margarine or the butter, try olive oil, try hemp oil, try avocado oil, flaxseed oil, peanut oil. There's all sorts of different oils that are out there these days that you can try that are a lot healthier. What else? What are the other foods that we need to avoid? Sodium chloride. What is that? It's table salt. It's the chemical name for table salt. Now, this is a chemical form of salt which combines these two substances, the sodium and the chloride. And this actually, again, creates acid in the body. It creates water retention in the body, which creates you to hold onto all that water, and makes you carry more weight because you're holding onto that water in your body. And a lot of people, when they start to go on a diet, first of all, they lose a lot of the water weight because they're holding onto so much water. So table salt, what else does it do? It can contribute to elevated blood pressure or high blood pressure, which then links to other disease risk factors such as cardiovascular disease. You don't want to be having water retention in your body. You want to drink lots of water, but you want your body to be able to process that water and get rid of whatever it doesn't need. So what are some of the alternatives to these 7 foods? Instead of salt, table salt or sodium chloride, we can use Himalayan salt. We can use Celtic sea salt. We can use parsley. We can use dried herbs to flavor our foods. Rosemary, sage, parsley, marjoram. There's so many herbs out there that can be used, and there's different dried herb mixes now that you can buy instead of just using plain old chemically derived table salt. What else can we do? Instead of drinking soda water, drink some normal water, filtered water, instead of soda drinks. If you want some flavor, you can add a little bit of honey to your drinks or to the water. Add a little bit of lime or lemon juice to the water. What else can you do? Have orange juice instead. Have a little bit of orange juice or fruit juice. And you can even water that down if you don't want to be consuming too much of the sugars. But instead of soda water, there are soda drinks. You can have fruit juices instead, or watered down fruit juices if you really have that craving for a bit of a sugar. I know every now and then I really just want to have a bit of orange juice because I like the flavor of the sugar. But most of the time I'm drinking water because it hydrates my body, helps your brain to function better. A lot of headaches are linked to lack of water or dehydration. So you've got to be drinking water. Try to go for at least 7 to 8 glasses a day, at least. Most of you should be drinking 2 liters of water a day. What else can we do instead of the sugar drinks and the sugar or the high fructose corn syrup? Have some fruit. Have a banana, have an apple, have an orange, have a kiwi fruit full of vitamin C and minerals. Bananas full of potassium. Have some coconut fruit, coconut water, coconuts. Have some dates, which are really high in iron, high in minerals. Also another great sweet fruit that is highly accessible to most people these days are dates. There are so many different options that you can choose instead of these sorts of processed and refined foods. What else can we do instead of those diet sodas? We can make fruit smoothies, and we can make fruit smoothies with all sorts of different fruits. We can add nuts in there. We can add some spirulina powder in there. We can add some maca powder in there. These are superfoods that will give you a ton of energy. We can, and also boost your immune system. We can also add nuts in there. We can add vegetables in there too, creating an alkaline drink or smoothie for yourself. So play around with different combinations. If you like, let me know. I can maybe give you some of the recipes that I do. Comment down below if you want that. Let me know, because I'll make some videos with a few different simple and easy recipes for smoothies. You can use cashew milk, you can use coconut milk, you can use oat milk in there if you like, and mix it up a little bit. So add a bit of variety so it's fun. Otherwise you get bored having the same smoothie every day. What else can we do? What other alternatives can we have instead of these refined foods? Instead of the grains, what I do, wheat. At the moment I'm not eating wheat at all. I'm avoiding wheat, and wheat has been now scientifically studied and has been shown to actually damage your intestinal wall. And this is what they are not telling us. The science is showing that now. We have these things in our walls, in our cell membranes, in the lining of our intestines called tight junctions. And these are supposed to be stuck together really close like this, so that whatever's passing through your intestine doesn't go through and end up back into the bloodstream, recirculating in the body. We don't want that. We've just digested the food and it's all the waste that's going out through our intestines. So we don't want that going back into the bloodstream. So when you eat a lot of wheat, or when you eat a lot of these sorts of grains, especially the wheat is what was studied in this case, particularly wheat and gluten, but wheat in particular causes these tight junctions to open up or remain open for a little while. I think it's about 20 minutes, but it allows, it kind of opens them up. And when that happens, things can leak out. So they tighten up again. Obviously, otherwise we'd have open junctions in our intestines, but it causes things to leak out from the intestine back into the bloodstream. And when this happens, your body creates an immune response because it goes, uh-oh, foreign invader in the bloodstream. And what happens? Your immune system is like the army defense system in your body. It wakes up. It's like an alarm bell going off, going, foreign invader, let's bomb this thing out of here, let's destroy it. This is what the job of the immune system is. It is to destroy foreign pathogens and antigens, antibodies, things, sorry, not antibodies, antigens, things that are not supposed to be in the bloodstream, such as things that are supposed to be going out the intestines. So when this happens, this is known as leaky gut syndrome. This is something you may have heard of. And it's a highly inflammatory state. It's linked to irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, all sorts of different intestinal disorders. Celiac disease, or celiac is another kind of advanced intestinal disorder or condition, which is causes a lot of disruption to the person that's suffering from that condition. So let's avoid wheat as much as possible because it's damaging the intestinal wall and creating an acidic state in your body. Instead of wheat, what will we eat? We will eat buckwheat, which is a plant seed. It's not even a grain. We can eat quinoa. We can have different sorts of non-wheat grains. There are two camps of this. A lot of people that are avoiding all the grains altogether for the acidic, but if you really want to keep eating the grains, try, instead of having the white rice, have the brown rice. Have the brown grain. The less refined, the better. The more fiber you have, the more fiber you have in a grain, the lower the response to your blood sugar. So if you're eating white rice, your blood sugar will raise a lot faster, as opposed to if you're eating brown rice, because with the brown rice, you've got the fiber that's slowing down the response of that sugar once it enters into your body. So you're also helping to regulate your blood sugar levels by having things that are less refined. Brown rice, brown foods. Let's forget about all these white processed food, which have all of the nutrition removed. All the nutrition, the brown is where the nutrition is, all the different layers that go to the grain, the endosperm, the outer layers, the husks, all the different parts that go into that. That's all full of nutrition. The bran, that's a part of the wheat germ. That's a part of the wheat, the plant. So we're separating it into like all the different bits, and it's being sold as separate parts. And what do we get? We're left over with a tiny little bit inside, which is a white wheat grain, which has got barely any nutrition. And to top it off, even worse, in many places they bleach this grain. They bleach it. And so you are eating something that's bleached. Of course your body's going to respond to it. And the other thing about wheat is that often, unless you're eating organic wheat and unorganic brown wheat, organic unrefined wheat, you are eating wheat that has been overburdened and saturated with pesticides and chemicals, one known as glyphosate in particular, which has been talked about quite a lot now in the health community. A lot of people are saying now that, well, a lot of research is showing that it's the glyphosate also that's causing a lot of damage in this wheat, and that people are consuming the wheat with this chemical pesticide residue, and that's creating a lot of damage as well. So let's play it safe. Let's just avoid the wheat altogether, because there seems to be a lot of studies showing that, it's not a healthy food and it's acidic. So why create any more acid in your body? The other thing to do is to start eating fresh, raw, living foods. What are they? They are fresh foods, fresh fruits, fresh, raw vegetables. Have some salad. Get more greens into your diet. Less cooked food, more raw food. Have a balance, but a lot of us, and the majority of us, are eating a lot of our diet as cooked food. So let's ingest more raw foods. Living enzymes with plants, for example, the minute you pick it off the tree, that's the best time to eat it. That's got its most nutritious elements are included, and you've got that maximum potency of vitamins, of minerals, of phytochemicals, of live enzymes, which is not often talked about. The enzymes are what help the food to break down properly in our body so that we can digest it properly. It's already in the plant. It's already in the food. And so what happens is that we have food sitting on shelves for months and months and months, or in storage freezers in fruit warehouses or vegetable warehouses, and they're losing their enzymes. After about 3 days to 4 days of the fruit being picked, it loses a majority of its enzymes, live enzymes. So you're already eating a fruit that's half dead. So what's the best solution to this? Start growing your own lemons. Start growing your own apples if you can. Start growing some of your own food, a little bit of herbs, a little bit of, parsley. Whatever you can do, it's going to help you. So start to get some of those vegetables in and raw. Make a nice salad. You can throw in some quinoa seeds in there, or quinoa. Chia seeds has high levels of potassium, iron, calcium, high in minerals and nutrition. Mix it in with some sunflower seeds on top, olive oil, some apple cider vinegar, and you have a wonderful salad. Vegetables such as cucumbers and carrots and tomatoes and some onions and kale. There's all sorts of wonderful things you can mix up and change around and excite your taste buds with. So remember, I was asking a person one day, do you live to eat, or are you eating to live? And the person jokingly responded to me, oh, I live to eat. And I think they were a bit joking, but they're also quite serious, because I know what that's like. I love eating food too. I grew up in an Italian family and we love our food. And I too love eating my food, but I realized that at the end of the day, I could eat myself to death if I wanted to. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to wake up feeling, with all the aches and pains in the body and starting to develop signs of these chronic diseases. Because when you're eating wheat every day, the pastas, the breads, dairy every day, milk, cheeses, all those sorts of acidic forming foods, you are increasing your levels of inflammation in your body. That's what acid forming foods do. So we've got to reduce those acid forming foods, the wheat, the bread, the pastas, the white rice. Replace it with the brown rice. Replace it with brown foods. You'll start to improve your diet. It's not easy to replace and change your diet. I know, I get it. It takes a little bit of time. Be kind to yourself. But start making some of those changes, and slowly but surely you're going to start waking up with a clearer head in the morning, having more energy and being energized. Remember, you don't want to turn into an unhealthy, low energy person. You want to have vitality, and by having vitality, you've got to have the living, vital foods full of energy. The fresher, the better. And some of that is a bit obvious, but we all need a little reminder sometimes. So remember to start making little changes step by step. Maybe change out one thing in your day. Maybe wake up and have a glass of water in the morning with a bit of lemon juice. This will flush out your liver, flush out the body, and create an alkaline state in your body straight up in the morning. Then you can have a little bit of a smoothie or a piece of fruit. Or better yet, have a bit of protein for breakfast. Some people like to have eggs for breakfast. Scrambled eggs. Just depends what suits your body. By having the eggs versus the sugar straight away in the morning, you are elevating and kind of evening out your blood sugar levels by having protein in the morning. That way you're not spiking up your blood sugar level. It's, straight away in the morning with a high level of fruit. A little bit of fruit is great. The other thing as well is when you wake up in the morning, your cortisol levels are already raised because you're getting up and you're rushing around and moving around in the body. So your cortisol is going like stress. Let's wake up. It's part of the sleep-wake cycle. So it's raising up in the morning. And what cortisol does, it raises your blood sugar levels. It helps sugar to be released. It signals to the body to release sugar because we need it to help us get ready in the morning, to wake up and get energized. We're doing things. So of course the body's going to go, hey, we need sugar. Let's get sugar going in the body. We need to use it up. And so it's going to start doing that. And that's an important role and function of the body. It's not a bad thing, but we don't want to overload it with sugar as well in the morning. So it's nice to even it out with a bit of protein. And if you do like to have a bit of like fruit in the morning, that's good. I like to do that every now and then as well. Have fruit or a fruit smoothie. Even it out with some nuts or some eggs or avocado even, or a vegetable, because a vegetable protein, because that will help to even out the blood sugar and slow the response in your body. You won't have that spike, and therefore you're not damaging your blood cells. So I think we will stop there for today. I've given you a lot of information. Maybe you might want to go back and rewind a little bit and take some notes and write some of these things down. And if you have any questions, please comment down below. Let me know what you think of these ideas. Let me know if you want to know more about the human body. Let me know if you want to know a little bit more about how these things work. I have so much more information to share with you. If you like the video, let me know, like it, click on the little thumb up, and if you want more information, more videos, subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you there. And remember, be happy, be healthy, and live your passion. Bye for now.